Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you.
So these are questions on gun control. Our first question is a word association to words. So whatever word comes to your head, just give me that one.
Okay.
Death,
Sad.
suicides,
Sad.
violence,
Bad.
guns,
Bullets.
self-defense,
Karate.
the Second Amendment.
Constitution.
All right. Secondly, I have a word association with types of guns.
Okay.
So the AR-15,
Assault rifle.
the AK-47,
Rifle.
a handgun,
Police.
a taser,
Police.
a shotgun,
Pennsylvania.
and a sniper rifle.
Military.
Thirdly, what are your thoughts on the Second Amendment in relation to time?
In relation to time,
Yes.
well, I think that the Second Amendment applies to guns for an indefinite period. So, why I think this is we look at the First Amendment. In the First Amendment, we have the freedom of speech. So, this would be, at the time period, speaking by word and speaking in newspapers. However, as technology advances, so does the amendment. So we have the freedom of speech not only in the newspaper, but also on social media. We have it on the internet. We have it in news articles online through YouTube. This is all freedom of speech. The same thing goes for guns. Back then, we only had muskets. Now we have handguns. Now we have rifles. So it depends on how the Supreme Court views the amendment.
Fourthly, do you own a gun?
No?
Would you own a gun?
Yes.
Is gun control legislation as of now sufficient?
No, I think it's sufficient, but it needs to be enforced better.
Who is to blame for gun deaths?
For gun deaths,
Yes.
the user of the firearm.
What kind of firearm deaths are the most important in your opinion?
They're all important. You can't quantify life.
Should security officers in public schools have guns, tasers, or mace?
Yes,
Should teachers?
they can if they want. You can't force a teacher to hold a gun.
Do you think, based on the news you see, that gun deaths have increased in recent years?
No, I don't think that they have increased if you look at the FBI database, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check.
Do you think that mental health is the biggest contributor in
Yes,
gun violence?
suicide. Suicide. If you consider gun violence, any death by gun, suicide is the highest.
Where do you think your news was formed? Where do you think your views were formed on guns, and when did you start paying attention?
I think my views were formed on guns based on the Constitution and my political views, I guess, which would be I take news outlets and I take history and I combine the two. What was the second half of the question?
When did you start paying more specific attention to it?
To guns, probably around the time that there was more talk. So, not necessarily Columbine because I was younger, but Sandy Hook.
All right, thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you questions about gun control. So our first question is a word association.
Okay.
And this is with some certain words that I have. So, word association with death.
Death. Graves.
Okay. Mass deaths.
Genocide.
Suicides.
Teenagers.
Violence.
Guns.
Guns.
People.
Self-defense.
Karate.
And then the Second Amendment.
Second Amendment. Guns.
Okay. Now this is a word association with guns. So AR-15.
Rifle.
The AK-47.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. A handgun.
Small.
A taser.
Useful.
A shotgun.
Large.
Sniper rifle.
Bad.
So what are your thoughts on the Second Amendment and its relevance towards time?
I think that the Second Amendment should still be an amendment. However, I think that there should be stricter gun laws.
And do you own a gun?
No.
Would you own a gun?
No.
So is gun control or legislation as of now sufficient?
No, it is not.
Who do you blame for gun deaths?
People.
What kind of firearm deaths are most important in your opinion?
Like, the kind of gun.
Yeah. So like, so what kind of firearm deaths are most important? So,
Like, between, like, handguns and
yeah.
AKs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say they're all equally important. It doesn't matter what kind of gun it is. They're still killing people.
Should security officers in public schools have guns, tasers, or mace?
Probably just tasers and mace.
Okay. And then should the teachers?
Just tasers and mace.
So do you think, based on the news you see, that gun deaths have been increasing in recent years?
Yeah.
Do you think that mental health is the biggest contribution for the factor of gun violence? And then if not, what do you think is?
No, I don't think mental health contributes to it. I think that's an excuse for people to commit gun violence. I think it's just people in general.
Then where do you think your views are formed on guns, and when did you start paying specific attention to it?
I think they were formed like just from the society around us and how guns are making a bigger impact in our world today and how they're becoming more like known because of shootings. What was the second part?
And then when did you start paying specific attention?
Oh, after like the mass shootings that have happened.
Thank you very much. Questions about gun control. Our first question is a word association with certain words. So whatever word comes to your mind first, just give me that one. Death.
Black.
Suicides.
Building.
Violence.
Weapon.
Guns.
Hunting.
Self-defense.
Karate.
Second Amendment.
Guns.
Secondly, these are word association with types of guns. AR-15.
Weapon.
AK-47.
Weapon.
Handgun.
Glock.
Taser.
Zap.
Shotgun.
Pump.
Sniper rifle.
Scope.
Thirdly, what are your thoughts on the Second Amendment in relation to time?
I don't understand the question.
How do you feel the Second Amendment has evolved over time?
Oh, I think it hasn't really changed much since it began.
Alright. Do you own a gun?
No.
Would you own a gun?
Yeah.
Fifthly, is gun control legislation as of now sufficient?
Yeah.
Who is to blame for gun deaths?
People who want to kill people.
What kind of firearm deaths are the most important in your opinion?
Accidental.
Should security officers in public schools be able to carry guns, tasers, or mace?
Yeah.
Should teachers?
Yeah.
Do you think, based on the news you see, that gun deaths have been increasing in recent years?
Based on the news, yeah. But I think they've stayed pretty constant.
Do you think that mental health is the biggest contributor in gun violence? If not, what is?
Yeah, I'd say it is the biggest.
Where do you think your views were formed on guns, and when did you start specifically paying attention to it?
Like 8th grade, 7th grade, maybe.
Okay. What do you think your views, where do you think your views were formed from?
At home, I guess. My parents, my dad bought some guns. I don't know.
Alright, thank you.